Hey guys, it's Ed again. Well, I have been working on everything. So, I have run around like a chicken with my head cut off. I have done a table. I have, for Thanksgiving, I have got my heater for my ultrasonic kind of working. I've got paint stuck on the bike out there. I've got a million things going at once today, so I guess that's the way it is when, it's a Saturday, right? And you got stuff to do, so. It looks like it's at 60 degrees centigrade, and it's starting to steam a little bit. So the juice that I ended up using was, I had some, and I actually thought I had a new jug, and then I couldn't find it, of this Haas, right here, this stuff. I can't even find the tag on it here. There it is. Parts wash. This came with it when I bought the thing, and super concentrated, I guess, but I've used it, and I didn't really like it, so what I bought was a can of regular carb cleaner here, and this is Napa brand, and it's empty, and I thought it was all good because this thing here is it does its thing, and I figured it just sat in there, but I didn't really think about it, but I guess it makes sense that that stuff will evaporate. So I went to use this, and guess what? It was empty, so I had to come up with a different plan. So I did some more research, and I had that stuff, that Haas or whatever it's called, and and then somebody said online, just plain old pine saw does a pretty good job. So it's the Ultrasonic. See, when you turn that on, makes all those cool noises. That's what does the work. So we're going to give it a try on the SL carburetor over here. Okay, these carburetors come apart pretty easy. They have the bail on the bottom, so you can just pop the bail off, and then out comes the carburetor. Now I did clean this out a little bit. See if I have a jug to dump this in. So I did clean that out, just with some spray and stuff. But there's a lot of there's a lot of grunge left in there. So we'll see what happens. But let's get this needle jet out of here. This is a real pain in the butt to get back in. There's a screw here that goes through. Let's take this screw out, and then that's what holds the pin. The screw is the pin, kind of the way it goes. So there's the pin, and now the hard part is to get this to kind of try to cooperate. And see if I can put a little light on this. Okay, so maybe you guys can see here, you got to kind of do two things at once. You got to try to spin it and then slip it down underneath, because it catches. It's kind of a interesting contraption here. Now it's stuck as usual. To be honest with you, I have no idea how I got it in here. Try the old shaky rattle trick. Come on. Okay, there, it got the jet out. And then once the jet comes out, everything falls out. So once you get, the needle out, then it all falls apart. So I didn't hear anything. Quiet, so I think that's okay. So there's a couple parts. Let's get the basket. So put the little parts in here, make sure they're not going to fall through. Not overly concerned about that hose. That can go in there too for all I care. So now, this is where our problems probably are. More than likely is in this main jet. So let's see if this thing will come out with the screwdriver. Oh, wow. It actually moved. They never do. And I would assume that these are plugged up, but hard to see. But they're little tiny holes. Yeah, I can't see. They do look like they're plugged up to me. But let's put them in the cooker, and then we'll see if they'll soften them up. Might be easier to get the gook out of them. And let's see if we can get a pick in here and get that O-ring out. Well, we don't have a pick, but I got a little screwdriver here, and I think that'll do the trick. Yeah, that worked. Get that O-ring out of there, because you don't want to cook that. That could be an issue. Let's get this other jet out of here. Oh yeah, look at that. That one come out nice. Did you ever break these off before? That'll give you a bad day. Oh yeah, lots of tiny holes in that little guy. He can go in the bucket. There's probably a gasket right here. I'd like to get out of there without destroying it. See if I got my knife on me, maybe I can get under it. Thought I put it back in my pocket. I did. Let's see if we can get just underneath here. Using the back side of the blade, if all possible, just to pry it up. Got a stiff spot right there. It's coming. Kind of use there's a metal like retainer to keep it in where it's supposed to go, and that's right in the way. So well, you guys get the idea, right? What I'm trying to do here. Well, I'm not sure how I did it, but I got that sucker out all in one piece. So I guess just time and patience. So if we have to, I do have gasket material. I could probably make a new one. But we won't cook that. Give it a quick look around, see if there's anything else that I can take out. Probably take this idle screw out and get rid of that. That'll get, the more places you can open it up to let the fluid flow, the better off it'll be. Cook that, clean that. The choke thing I'm not overly concerned about. I'll just open it up. I'm not going to take it off. So I think that and that are ready to go in the drink. Okay, just those few minutes of working on getting that carburetor tore apart. We went up 2 degrees centigrade, so Celsius, centigrade. Is a centigrade and Celsius are the same thing? You smart guys out there, you'll tell me. So we're gonna dip this in, make sure she's nicely submerged. Got a little steam coming off, which is good. Floats are floating. And put the lid on it. Lost a couple degrees. Hit ultrasonic. And we're good for 97 minutes. Go the other way. Not sure how long to put it in for, but an hour might be too long. Who knows? So I put it in for an hour. Because I'm hoping the temperature will come up to 80. That's the max temperature that it cooks at. So let me get the blue insulated cover back on it to keep it nice and toasty. And there we go. Plus it quiets it down, otherwise it's very loud and annoying. So let's go show you what else we were doing. So I was building a table. That's what that big sheet of 1/4-inch plywood was for. I had to do some creative work on that. So we'll get you out of down here. Oh, show you this too. Look what I've been doing. Making black powder. No, not for exploding things. That's a different kind. This is rubber. This is the rubber from the mounts. So let me go show you what we did, how we made those. And I think I showed you guys the milling machine. That's what I used to mill them all out, the grooves. So okay, we're back up in the garage again, and the bike here is kind of about where we left it when we started it. This looks a little different, maybe. It's not perfect, but you can tell I did a lot of welding. I patched that whole piece that was all blown out. This pipe was disconnected, so that is all reconnected and then just filled. There's metal under there and then weld going over it, and that turned out pretty good. And then I painted it with the VHT flame-proof 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm figuring that should hold up quite well. This is the back side, the tab that I built so you can hang it and all that. And this side's not anywhere near as pretty, but it's the back side. So, but I think it looks okay. Looks good from where I'm doing. So what else was I working on? Oh yeah, we're gonna do these. Notice I got the lids, or the side covers off, and I took out the duct tape version. This is the duct tape that, see, this is all duct tape that they had on the inside, and we're going to coat the inside with fiberglass, and I've got all the stuff to do that, so I'll take you guys along on that trip in a minute. What else did I do? Oh, I tell you, I'm going from one thing to another. I've got blue paint on the fender and on the bracket or the brace or whatever you want to call it. I've got silver paint on the side cover, and that's where the hole was blown out, right in there. So it was where the sprocket chewed its way through the side. So I think that looks all pretty. And I also, when I was doing pretty, I figured I'd even pretty up the air cleaner, because I had to take the carburetor off, because you guys just watched. We did that, so I just blew some black paint on there. And what else we got going on? Oh, I know too. I gotta go show you. Okay, I showed you guys down cellar the milling machine, and here's one of the pieces I made out of the sanding block. Harbor Freight $3.80 sanding block. And then I put a hole saw in the drill press over there, and I think it's a 3/4 inch hole saw, and I just drilled it out, and then I cut a slit in it, and then I shaped it a little bit. I shaped it first with a bandsaw, and then I went after it with the grinder just to make it a little more consistent. But I think that looks pretty darn good, and all that does is just clip right over the top of the piece. I also took this one. You guys have seen this one, I think, and I give this one a little more of a deeper, come on, we're gonna lose this fender, hang on a second. Can I go fast enough to catch it? Oh, it stayed. Probably should move it. So anyway, what I did was I narrowed that up a little bit, just thinned it a little bit so it pushed back the fender, and I cut the grooves in here a little bit deeper. I haven't put the strap, but you guys can kind of see I hewed that out, put like a saddle, so I could put a metal, the original one has a metal band that goes around it, but I thought that turned out pretty darn good for making it out of a $3.80 Harbor Freight sanding block. And I painted this too, so I just give it a quick rattle can of black. That's the chain cover, chain guard. And okay, so let's work on something else. Okay guys, we're going to do the fiberglass work on this on these side covers. And what I've done is I taped them all back together so they're all squeezed as tight as I can get them. And I cut the fiberglass. I have lots of fiberglass. I bought a whole box of it. So if you haven't played with fiberglass, this is fiberglass mat. It comes in a weave like a cloth, and then this here is much more easy to flex because the strands go in every direction. So it may not technically be as strong, but it's definitely more flexible. So what you're going to need is you're going to need the cloth, and you're going to need some resin. So this resin's been around a long time, so we'll see if it actually goes bad. Oh, it comes out good. How much do you need? I don't know. About that much. Maybe a little more. Because we're going to do both, sop them pretty good. The other thing you're going to need... Okay, so of course the battery pooped out. So I don't know where I left off. But anyway, we've just put the resin in here. That's just the plain resin. You're going to need a crappy paintbrush to squish it in. And you're going to need some hardener. Now, like I said, I always mix this stuff up. For every four fluid ounces, that's hard to say, of resin, add 40 drops of hardener. Was that 4 fluid ounces I put in there? Well, this is 32 ounces. That wasn't quite full, so let's add maybe a little more in there. This is about empty anyway, so I got this from my friend Dennis. I'm pretty sure he gave this to me. He says, hey, I picked this up somewhere, probably on the side of the road. So anyway, I had to pick up more hardener. I had a big tube of it. I got to look in that container. It might actually be in there. And I got a big jug of this too. So 40 drops. What do you think? Just got a hole in it. Nope. So let's put a hole in it. Otherwise, we're not going to get too far here. Okay, we got a hole now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Close enough. Couple extra. What do I do with the lid? It's about a half a tube of that left. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to stir it up in the bucket here. Just kind of work it around using the same paintbrush. Probably should use a stir stick, but well. All I'm doing here is just kind of trying to mix the hardener. That's MEKP. When I was in college, I did a fiberglass project, and man, I tell you what, that MEKP, that's methyl ethyl ketone peroxide. In case you really wanted to be on Jeopardy and find out what that is, that stuff will tear you up. So anyway, let's start putting it in here. So basically all we're trying to do is smush it in. Sometimes stimpling works good. Sometimes nothing works good. Because you're going to get it right down in there. So it's going to give it something that we can Bondo against. Is the idea. It is messy stuff. especially when you're trying to turn it around, so you guys might be able to see what I'm doing. You see the blue kind of start to peek through. That's when it becomes transparent and you've got it soaked pretty well. So now we can work it in. Now we're getting somewhere. We need a little more in this corner. Like I said, sometimes this like stimpling technique where you just kind of poke it in, that works pretty good. Got a dry spot right there. So that's about all there is to it. I think that's starting to look pretty good. Let's get on the other one before our stuff dries. Okay. Tell me to leave it alone. Let it dry. So, and that pretty much hammered what was in the bucket. There's a tiny So we got a little carb cleaner here, and we've got the parts out of the wash. I just wanted to spray a little on here and see if anything else come off with a little aggression here. But nothing seems to want to come off quick, so I guess that's okay. Carburetor's still a little warm. Blow through all the holes. That's interesting. Kind of stiff. If it cooked on that rubber a little bit. I don't know. But anyway, looks like there's some dirt right there. Give that a quick blast. So these jets, well, that's not the jet that I'm looking for. This is the idle control screw. That can go back in. That in there. These are the little guys that give you issues. So let's see. That's actually, it cleaned it up a little. I'm not getting any noise through there, and I think I should, because I see a hole in it. Let's see if we can get a thin piece of wire maybe and we can clean that out. So what I found here, you guys probably can't see that, but it's just a wire wrap, like a bread tie, and it fits right through there pretty good. So we'll use that to poke out these holes. Make sure that those are good and cleaned out. I think there's a couple here at the top. These ones are the ones that I think are stuck. And then I think there's one more right up at the tippy top. Maybe not. So just 3 of them, I guess. So yep. Oh, it looks like there's one. Oh no, there is a top one. I thought there was one at the top. So we'll just make sure the wire goes through. Not getting anything through there. Must be the center of the jet. Might have some crud in it. So we'll run the wire up through that. See if we can clean that out. Well, that sounds better. There we go. So there was some crud in that main jet for sure. And that came right out good. So that's good. Screw that one back in. Get that little guy. Come on, baby. Tightened up. Now this one here has a couple little holes on it too, I believe. Oh no, that's the pin. If I can see what I'm looking at here. There's the jet. That's not what I want. This one. Yes. This one right here. This one has a couple holes in it too. So let's try going up the center of it. Not sure you can get up the center all the way. Because if you can, I can't. So, well, it feels like it's trying. So we'll poke some of these out. There's two. And then there's two from the other side, drilled up at a little bit of an angle. You know what really works good is clutch wire. It's a lot stiffer than this piece of bread wire, but the only clutch cable I got is a good one, so I don't really want to tear that one apart. So I'm just trying to work that wire. It's definitely, oh yeah, it's got some black stuff on the end. Let's keep working it. See if we can get her to go through. And you poking at it. Now you guys get the idea what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to poke this wire through here. And it's giving me some issues. I'm not sure if it's the size or if it's that jammed up in there. I'm not sure, but we'll keep working on it. Okay, I was successful in getting fluid through that jet. I couldn't get the bread wire through it, but I did get the carb cleaner to blast through it, so I call that good. Put the other jet in, put the gasket back on, put the O-ring back on this side, fought that little inlet needle in there and floats, so we're all good there. Put this on that side, the bail, and then squish that together and close it up. I think we got a carburetor all ready to go. It's all been cleaned and rebuilt. And check our bucket, make sure we don't have any extra parts. No extra parts is good. Well, we're sitting here in front of the fire, and kids have been working on their project here, science project, I guess. It's supposed to be Mars, and Mars keeps falling down. So anyway, look what came in the mail today. Brand new tire, warming up so we can actually maybe mount it. And this is what the heck brand is this thing? Shinko. Where is it? Right there it is. You guys see that? Shinko. Tire was $32, I think, shipped, and try that light. That one will stay on. And 32 or 36. Tube was another $9 shipped. So pretty funny, the tube came from California and the tire came from Pennsylvania. They were ordered at the same time, got here on the same day. So anyway guys, another project for another day. I hope you enjoyed watching me fiberglass and mess around and do a lot of other stuff. Not really get anything accomplished, but do a lot of stuff and just run around in circles, because that's what I do. So thanks again for watching, subscribing, and commenting, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye.